There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.
Hello everyone, my name is Elsie and I'm excited that I just completed a 15-week journey with the CTL Africa team on the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell.
From the law of pain, I also learned that every problem introduces a person to himself. Honestly, till you face a problem, you wouldn't know the things that you actually have within you.
The journey for me personally was a wake-up call. Before I joined this journey, I wasn't actually learning at all. I wasn't adding any logic to what I knew.
So the law of trade-off is saying that you have to give up to grow up. So things that I think are not going to have maximum impact on my life, I have to trade them off.
I want to grow. I am not stopping now. I am continuing. And as far as I'm concerned, like it says, you cannot give what you don't have. I definitely will have to give what I have learned off to others and then get more so that I can continue giving. I am not going to be a reservoir. I am going to be a river, and therefore I'm going to continue learning to be able to give of my best.
Ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results on a consistent basis if they have a system, if they have a plan.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm excited to be with you this evening. Saturdays are my best days because I have the opportunity to meet wonderful people like you who are willing to learn, willing to grow, and also to bring to you great speakers, great leaders who are willing to share their experience and their knowledge. And this evening, the team and I are excited. Sarah is here, Kofi is here, Richmond is here, Vivian is here, everybody is here. And we're excited to bring you the leadership platform. We're going to discuss an important subject which we have advertised to you over the period. And the subject in the last month, we have been discussing workplace leadership. And we brought you several aspects of workplace issues where leadership is required to grow. And this evening, we are going to bring you an equally important subject. And the subject is leading with emotional intelligence at the workplace. Emotional intelligence is the thing. It's leadership is relationships. It's about how you're going to impact people. And so your ability to understand people, the emotions, and so on is so critical, particularly in the workplace where things are very competitive, where people are pushing, there's politics, there is all sort of things. Your bosses are giving you pressure, your subordinates are playing games with you. How do you navigate this environment? Especially these days where getting a job is a tough thing and everybody wants to keep their job. And sometimes it's really, really difficult. So, as Marsha B. Rosenberg says, we are dangerous when we are not conscious of our responsibility for how we behave, think, and feel. How we behave, think, and feel is absolutely important. And these days we are talking of artificial intelligence in our work life, and artificial intelligence is making things so fast for us. But will that take away the need for us to understand human beings? That's what we're going to try to learn this evening. And I'm so grateful with the person who is going to speak to us, my good friend Alhaji Abubakar Kwame Isuman has offered this evening to share with us. And I'm not going to give a long introduction of him because, as John Maxwell says, when you are good, you don't need a long introduction. And if you're not good, a long introduction will not help you. So all I will say about Alhaji is that he's a certified transformational coach with the Coach Masters Academy in Singapore. He's a certified trainer, so he knows how to communicate and train people. He is also trained in alternative dispute resolution. He holds a Bachelor of Education in Psychology, so when we talk emotions, he understands what all this is about. He holds an MBA in Employee Relationships from Leicester University. But it's not just academic. He spent over 16 years in people management. So at the workplace, he's a guru there. People management around planning, he has a passion for planning and strategy and leadership, performance management, and he's done this in so many organizations. He's currently the head of human resources and administration for Bank of Africa, Ghana. Now, this tells you that we have the right person to speak to us this evening and to share knowledge. He's going to be with us make a presentation for between 30 to 45 minutes. Then we're going to have discussions. He has a lot to share. So don't go away. During the questions and answers time, he's going to add a bit more meat to what he says. So on that note, it is my singular pleasure and honor to welcome my good friend Alhaji Abubakar Isuman to the leadership platform. Alhaji, thank you so much. We know you prayed for us for all this, how many days? When we called you, you said, okay, you will do this for us, but let's finish the Sarah. So we know that you prayed for 30, 40 days, fasted for us, and now you brought us the meat, the true one. Thank you very much, Abubakar, for being here.
Thank you very much, Samuel. I am indeed privileged and humbled to be on this platform. It's a very honored platform, so I deem myself very privileged when you extended the invitation to me, and I readily accepted because I knew it would be. It's a big platform that if I participated, I would be serving a bigger purpose. And for me, leadership is a pet subject for me, and so talking about leadership any day is something that's I relish. So I am grateful for inviting me, and thank you very much. for the introduction. So I guess.
Thank you so much. So on that note, I'm going to just leave the platform and you take us away anyhow you want. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. So let me share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen can be seen by all.
Yes, we can see your screen clearly,
Okay,
and we can
fantastic.
hear you.
Thank you very much. So I always like to start my presentations with a quote, because I believe that quotes are embedded with a lot of wisdom. So this one is from Ronald Reagan, a former American president, who said that the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He's the one that gets the people to do greatest things. So this basically one key thing we can take from this is working with people or working through people is one of the key things that defines a leader. And if you have to work with people to be able to achieve great things or to be described as a great leader, then you have to know your way around people. And for me, that is what today's discussion is about. And so there are two concepts we are seeking to marry or talk about, and the issue of leadership and the issue of emotional intelligence, how you can use emotional intelligence to help you in your leadership endeavor or journey. And when it comes to leadership, John Maxwell is one of the foremost authorities, and I love how he used simplicity to talk about leadership. And so his definition of leadership is something I use all the time and I believe in. He says that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So leadership is about influence. It's about how you are able to impact people, how you are able to make people to do things with you and for you, how you're able to work through people or achieve things through people. When, as humans, we all have our individual free will. So if a human being is willing to subject their own free will to yours, that is what leadership is about. It is not about having a position and so you give orders or instructions and people follow. Leadership is where people listen or follow you because they want to, not because they have to. So it's important we are able to distinguish between having a positional leadership and leadership as an influence. And so John Maxwell says that leadership is a choice you make, not a place you sit. So you can develop your leadership or your influence at anywhere, from anywhere in the organization. And so he talks about a 360-degree leader that looks at leading your boss, leading your boss's peers, leading your peers, leading your subordinates, and most importantly, leading yourself. So we will basically use this definition of leadership as our working definition for today's discussion. Then we move to the next concept, which is emotional intelligence. And I think Samuel gave a very good introduction about that. Now everything is about artificial intelligence, but can we do away with emotional intelligence, considering that even the technologies that the EIs run on are developed by human beings. So human beings can never be out of the equation. So we have to build a capability on how to work with humans or with people. Now, Daniel Goleman's definition for emotional intelligence, again, I like it because of its simplicity. I'm a very simple person. I like simple things. I believe that great things are derived from very simple stuff. So now he says that the ability to manage ourselves and our relationships effectively is what emotional intelligence is about. So emotional intelligence is the ability to manage ourselves and our relationships effectively. Now, this diagram basically brings everything into one picture. I like diagrams because I'm somebody, once I see something, it sticks in my head. So I like to work with diagrams. So basically, you see that there are 4 quadrants in this diagram here or table. There is the left part of the quadrant which addresses the self, and the right part which addresses the social. Then there is a top part which looks at awareness or recognition, knowing who you are or who others are. So having that awareness. And then the bottom part looking at regulation. So knowing yourself or knowing others is to so why do you need to do that? So at the end of the day, once you know yourself or you know others, then what? And that is where the regulation or the management comes in. So if you look at the top left, it talks about self-awareness, and it says that is the ability to recognize and understand your moods, your emotions, your drives, as well as how it affects others. So it's important to know yourself. You can't seek to deal with people or relate with others when you've not mastered yourself. So it's very important you have that self-awareness. And then also the social awareness is your ability to understand the emotional makeup of other people, i.e. what makes them tick. When you work with people, it is very important you know. For example, my team members always tell me that on Monday mornings I am too pensive and too serious, and so it's not a good time to have meetings with me because I am too businesslike. So I decided consciously or deliberately that we will not have meetings on Mondays, just so that I will be at my best self. So we have our own nuances, our own individual differences, and it's important we know who we are so that we can give off our best to the people around us. Now, having known ourselves and known others, what do we do with this? And that is where the self-management comes in. So when it comes to self-management, it is the ability to control or redirect disruptive impulses and moods, the propensity to suspend judgment, in other words, to think before you act. It is very important that when you are confronted with situations, you don't always go for the first thought that comes to mind, or someone will say your second nature. Just pause, because if you are not careful, sometimes a word that comes out of your mouth can cause more damage to others than you can ever imagine. So knowing yourself, knowing that when maybe you are agitated, you are unable to speak words of kindness. So if, let's say, someone comes to you in an aggressive mood, if you know that you can't respond in a way that will bring peace, what do? You have to defer judgment or wait for some time before you act. Sometimes I tell people that when you have the opportunity to write, it's not like you are talking, because once you speak the word out there, you can't take it back. But when you write and you show emotions in your writing, then that is a very serious level of not applying emotional intelligence, because you can write, you can read over, you can save it, go come back, read again, you can give it to somebody to read for you before you send it. And so it is inexcusable to, for example, send an email or write, and you are not able to communicate the actual information you want to communicate, but rather it shows emotions in there. So it is important we are able to master ourselves so that we know how to manage ourselves. Then on the social skill side, at the bottom right corner or quadrant, the social skills is the proficiency in managing relationships and building networks. It's your ability to find common ground and build rapport. I always say that at the workplace, we have two key objectives or goals we seek to achieve. One is to achieve business goals, and then two is to build and maintain relationships. At the end of the day, your ability to have the right balance shows your level of emotional intelligence. You don't sacrifice one for the other. That is something you never do. That, yes, because you have targets that you want to achieve, you you trample upon people. You don't care how you achieve your goals, and to you the end justifies the means. That way of, or that philosophy of doing things does not display the right emotional intelligence. Now, I'm going to share with you some leadership stories. I like stories. I like stories to accentuate or to drive home concepts. So I believe that, growing up, or as children, we like to listen to stories, and stories help us to understand the world around us. So for me, it's something I still carry. I believe that every person like to hear stories, and because they help us to position certain concepts very well, or put them in perspective. So I have about, I think, 3 or 4 stories I want to share. The first one is leading with empathy and care. And when it comes to emotional intelligence, empathy plays a key part. My first story is picked from Elon Musk, a story about Elon Musk. And Elon Musk, I believe, is a household name. He's the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. So this story goes this way: that after claims of a higher than average injury rate, so basically Tesla's Fremont factory faced a number of or had an average injury rate. So Elon Musk urged the workers to report injuries to him, and he basically, in an email to them, wrote something that was very profound. I've highlighted some of these in blue that I want us to take note of, and possibly maybe when we get to the question and answer time, you can ask me questions on them. Now, this is how he started his email: that no words can express how much I care about your safety and well-being. It breaks my heart when someone is injured building cars and trying their best to make Tesla successful. I chose these words because there are words in there that are used when, for example, we are writing to our loved ones. Words like no words can express how much I care about you or about your well-being, and it breaks my heart. And this is a CEO writing to his staff, and these are the choice of words he uses. So I want us to take note of these. Now he goes on to say that going forward, I've asked that every injury be reported directly to me without exception. He basically wants to know about every injury. He's a CEO. Obviously, And of course, we know who Elon Musk is, and I want to believe he has 1,001 things to worry about. So if he wants to know about every injury that happens in the factory, then that tells me a lot. And he continues that I'm meeting with the safety team every week and would like to meet every injured person as soon as they are well, so that I can understand from them exactly what we need to do to make it better. He wants first-hand information from somebody or people who do their work and get injured along the way, and wants to talk to them so that he can improve, he can make things better. I'll then go down to the production line, and again, note this, and perform the same task they perform. He wants to, so if someone was sweeping and slipped off or something fell on his toe and he injured himself, Elon Musk is saying that he want to go and perform that job himself. Now he says that this is what, so now he's expanding this not just for himself. Maybe somebody will say that, oh well, maybe he's different. He's saying that this is what all managers at Tesla should do as a matter of course, and that at Tesla we lead from the front line, not from some safe and comfortable ivory tower. Managers must always put their team's safety above their own. For me, when I was in my research and I came across this, I found it profound that a CEO will look at issues of injury at the workplace in this manner. And this story is coming out with a lot of emotional intelligence in here. And if you're CEO or the man at the top, this is how he sees things. Then if you are a leader in this organization or a manager or a supervisor, basically you don't have a choice, because as we usually hear or say that the fish starts rotting from the head. So if the top gets it right, then obviously the other parts of the organization will get it right. The next story, maybe for time, I will just use limited to maybe 2 or 3. So the next one, I call it leading with patience and understanding. And this is a story that was narrated by Jack Welch, former chairman and CEO of General Electric. So in this story, this is something that happened to him. So this is not what he did, but something that happened to him early on in his career. So he says that in his mid-20s, Welch was the manufacturing head of a pilot plant producing a new plastic. And basically, after working there for a very short time, and this is after he had earned his PhD, he was sitting in his office across from one of the plants, and he heard a huge explosion. So basically, there was an explosion, and out of his window, he saw smoke, and the destruction was everywhere. But he says that incredibly, no one was hurt. And after this, he was called to New York to explain what had happened to the higher ups. And he says that drive was the longest ride of his career. And I'm sure we can all relate. If such an accident happens in a plant where you are the head and you are called to HQ, obviously it will be the longest drive of your life. I'm sure you'll be sweating even if you are sitting in an air-conditioned car. So he says that mentally he was prepared for the worst. He thought he was going to get fired, but instead of being raked over the coals, he says that the executive, who was a chemical engineer and a former MIT professor, calmly asked him what happened and if he knew how to fix it. You see, most often than not, when something goes wrong at the workplace, what most heads do is who done it? Who caused it? That is the question we ask. But here, he said the man calmly, and let's underline the word calmly, because what it means is that the person was patient and he sought to understand. So he asked him what happened and if he knew how to fix it. He continues that the man took the Socratic method with him and did an incredible job of engaging him in learning about what he had done wrong in the process. And that he learned, and this is a key lesson he learned, and it's something I want all of us listening to me to learn, that you never kick anybody when they are down. Never kick anybody when they are down. We all know that anybody who has caused a mistake or messed up in the workplace, we know how you feel. You feel terrible. You wish the very ground you are standing on was split for you to enter. So you already feel bad about yourself. So to have your leader or supervisor to also now rub it in and make you feel worthless, that is the worst thing that can ever happen to any human. And if you are in a position to in a position of authority, you try not to let any human being feel worthless. And that is what basically I want us to take from this story, that you never kick anybody when they are down. You rather, when something goes wrong, try to find out what happened and help them to fix it. And he said that no one would ever say that I was soft by any means, but they would never say that I beat on anybody when they are down. Watch obviously will eventually become chairman and CEO of General Electric between 1981 and 2001. And I think he became more like the godfather for corporate leaders in most of America then. So let us take note of this story, and I want to believe that this left an indelible mark on him, and most probably that is how come he became the kind of leader he did. Maybe so this will be the last one. I think I don't have much time. So the next one is leading by showing gratitude. And this story I'm taking from a story told by Indra Nooyi, former CEO and chairperson of PepsiCo. So the story goes like that. There is huge value in writing thank you notes to employees. And that during the 10 years of Douglas Conant's period as a CEO of Campbell Soup Company, he turned the suffering business around, putting the focus back on people that he worked with. And he wrote not less than 30,000 handwritten thank you notes to his employees. An exercise that required that he paid attention to each and every person in the company. And I'll ask this question. I'm sure each of us have felt that way at some point in our career. When somebody, let's say the CEO or a top manager in the company who probably is not even in our department, when he sees us and he mentions us by name, we are surprised about the fact that the person knows our name. And then that realization tells us something else, that wow, if this person can take pains to know my name, then this person values who I am. So for Douglas to be able to do something like this, it tells you how he was able to get the people to believe in him or to believe in his vision. And no wonder he was able to turn the business around. But that is not the story I want to tell. The real story is about somebody who decided to rather thank the parents of her employees. Excuse me, and that is Indra Nooyi, former CEO of PepsiCo. So when she got this big job, she traveled back to India to see her parents, and according to her, she was sitting in her mom's living room, and a lot of people were coming to see her mother and were rather congratulating the mother for what a good job she had done by raising such an awesome daughter like Nooyi, who had achieved such a high status. So I'm sure she was thinking, wow, I'm the one who has a big job. Why are you people thanking my mom? But that is when it dawned on her that it is parents who are responsible for the success of their children. And so, yes, so her parents deserved all the praise that they were getting. And so that is when it occurred to her that she had never thanked the parents of her executive team. And so she then took that with her when she went back to the US. So she said when she returned home, she wrote a letter to each of the parents of the members of her executive team. And she said she wrote a paragraph about what their child was doing at PepsiCo. And she said, I said, thank you for the gift of your child to our company. Now, according to her, some of the parents wrote back and saying that how they were honored, and some of the executives even told her it was the best thing that had ever happened to their parents. Talking to the Boston Consulting Group, Nooyi says that the way to hold on to employees is by hooking them emotionally to the job through the company's business model and what it stands for. You need to look at the employee and say, I value you as a person. I know you have a life beyond PepsiCo, and I'm going to respect you for your entire life, not just treat you as employee number 4,567. Through her unique and unusual display of gratitude, Nooyi bonded with her executive team in a heartfelt and deeply personal way that helped her build loyalty and morale. No wonder she had over 75% in-house approval rating. Basically, these are the three stories. There is another one, but I think for want of time, I will pause here. Yes, I believe these stories I've shared has portrayed the concept of emotional intelligence without me doing jargons, because sometimes we are consumed by the jargons and the theories, and we are unable to bring this down to everyday life. So I like to use a different style, and so I prefer to put these concepts in stories like this, and I believe that they have brought out the concept that we are describing. Even though I have other slides, I'm going to go to my last slide, and there's a quote there. Of course, if the questions come up, I may probably go back to the slide. If I have to share these slides, I will do that. I will talk to Samuel and we can share. This is a quote I came up with, and it says that achieving business goals is good and admirable, but your ability to build and maintain good relationships with others is a higher life goal that I want us to go away with. Because you may think that, well, if I show that I care, some people believe that showing that you care is a weakness. But believe it or not, when you care for people and they know that you care for them genuinely, they will break their back for you. And we learned early on from the quote by Ronald Reagan that it is not you doing the work that shows that you're a great leader, but it is when you work through or with people and you're able to let people achieve great things. That is what makes you a great leader. So if you're able to maintain or build and maintain good relationships with people, that is how they will be able to work and achieve those business goals that ordinarily you wouldn't have been able to achieve. So on this note, I would like to pause here and take questions. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your attention. I am most grateful. Thank you very much.
Hello, dear leader. My name is Samuel Eyim, Chief Leadership Coach at the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa. And I have an important invitation for you. Why are some nations developed and thriving, while others are underdeveloped and struggling? Why are some businesses flourishing and others languishing? Why are some churches growing and others dying? These are important questions for leaders. So are you a leader? At what level are you leading? What impact are you making? What is your understanding and concept of leadership? The way you think about leadership is the way you do leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is the cause, all others are the effect. So, at the Center for Transformational Leadership, we've created this program to help you transform your understanding of leadership. This program is going to be based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. As a John C. Maxwell certified coach, I'm going to walk you through these laws, and we're going to give you exercises and activities around these laws to help install a new transforming concept of leadership for you. This will change the way you do leadership completely. So I invite you to check our website and our social media pages and to register for the Leadership Mindset and Heart program. This program is on 2 levels. The first level is understanding the laws of leadership, where we are going to walk you through the laws of leadership in 3 to 5 days. And this will give you the foundations of leadership. The second level is walking the laws of leadership. Here, we take you through a 15-week journey through the laws of leadership. Every week, you will have opportunity to study one law, apply the law throughout the week, meditate upon it, do the exercises, and regroup with other like-minded people who are learning the laws of leadership, exchange ideas, and share your lessons. So do not miss this opportunity. Register now for the Leadership Mindset and Heart program.
Wow. Thank you so much, Abubakar. That was great. And I love the stories because they bring the lesson home. And so thank you so much. There are so many people online, guys. Abubakar is ready to answer your questions, but let's acknowledge those who are online whilst we give Abubakar a couple of minutes to drink some more water. And if you are here, please share the link with your friends. It's live on Facebook, it's live on YouTube, it's live on LinkedIn. Share the link and invite others to join us as we discuss further, because we still have more time for questions and answers, because this is an important subject. So get your questions, write your questions in your comment section, write your comments in the comment section, and we are going to go through them right now. If there is any situation in your office or in your workplace that you would like to bring up for to share, to learn, please feel free. All right. So we have Conrad Kakraba, who is the director of True TV, is on. Conrad, thank you so much from Amasaman. Joseph Leju is here. He's joining us all the way from Juba, South Sudan. Thank you so much, Joseph from Juba. Gilbert Sam is here from Nkoko, Kwawu. Douglas Amwatin is here. We know he's always here from Tema. Livingston Zeto is here. We see you. You are here. Aram Aguzi is joining us here. We know from the northern of Ghana. Frederick Yamensa is here. Doris Atta is here from Accra. Rosalind Pratt, thank you for joining all the way from Akosombo. William Glay is here from Togo, Parliament in Togo. Thank you for joining. Jonathan Yale is here from Takwa. Henry Amwate is here. We have Professor Carmore from Montreal, Canada. Prof, thank you so much. Prof is a professor of business studies at the University of McGill, and he's happy to join us this evening. Thank you so much. Philip Osei is here. He says very powerful introduction from presentation. Isaac Ayiku is here from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Frederick Mensah says this deep. Aisha to Ali, looking forward to impactful moments. All right. Now you've heard it, so let's have your question. Portia Amono is here from Tema. Well, Limitless Wealth International, so that's code. Wavo is here from Togo. Kofi Danso is here watching from Amasama. And I'm looking for your questions, guys. Come up with your questions. Otherwise, I'm going to ask Docs some questions. Frederick Yalmensa is here. Feruza Katuna is here from Accra. Dania Kwe is here from Anya. Esther Amankwa is here. He says, great presentation. Watching from Eastern region. Shelila Ahmed says deep. All right. Anna Jr. is also here. Okay, so far I've not seen any comments. So let me bring Abubakar and let's have some interactions. Abubakar, I've worked with several bosses and I've worked with several colleagues. Now, I had a colleague who would just be shouting on his team members, screaming. They would tell you, if you can't work here, just get out of here. Are you mad or this? I mean, what will you say about superiors who treat their subordinates this way? Because they see leadership as strength, and that strength must be demonstrated by how they can scream and shout on people. What is your reaction to this kind of attitude?
Thank you, Samuel. I've encountered leaders like that, and I think maybe if I had gone through my fourth story, there are some people who believe that you have to put fear, as they say, put the fear of God in people, so that when you give them instruction or give them an order, they will they will do as you say. But I think that is not leadership, because at the end of the day, it is not. In fact, people don't thrive in fear. If it is said that you have to, even when people have made mistakes, you have to give them that cover. So what some or good leaders do, even when their team members have done something that is wrong, they will take responsibility of that, especially to their bosses, of course. So let's say I have a team member, he has done something in my department, now I have to go and respond to it. A good leader will take responsibility of that. And of course, you take the team member through, find out what happened, and then help them so that they don't make that mistake again. But you give them that cover. If people are working in fear, they don't give up their best. So any person in authority, and for me, I won't even call them leaders, any person in authority who uses fear or threats or insults as a way of driving performance from their team members will probably get just the barest minimum. And it is for such people, when they are not there, their team members have a field day. So you see that sometimes even in schools, maybe if a teacher is not in a class, the students will be doing anything, the one person will be standing at the door. As soon as a teacher is coming, then everybody will go and sit down. Obviously, you don't want that kind of behavior in the workplace, where it is because people fear you, that is why they will obey you. You know, you want to create an environment where people will obey you, or people will submit to you because they want to, not because they have to, or because of the position you have, or because they fear that you can discipline them or you can apply a certain sanction on them. And so that will give the barest minimum. Of course, they will do what you will not fire them, but that is not what will tip you over the edge. That exceptional performance that will give you that incredible results, you will not get that if people don't go the extra mile. But if you put fear in people, if you threaten people, if you insult people, they will not go that extra mile for you. And so you will get the barest minimum from them, basically.
All right. Now, but, you know, people are difficult. And if you are a leader or a boss and you become nice with the people, they will take you for granted. I mean, people, what do you say to that? Because I hear this a lot. I mean, so some leaders keep a distance between you and your people. You know, I've seen situations where, because of that, even in the corporate canteens, they have a separate session for the seniors and a separate session for the juniors, because if you mix up with the juniors, they will not respect you. And so keep a distance. Don't get close to your people. What do you say about that?
Okay. Good question, Samuel. You see, there's a difference between companies, organizations that exceed their performance targets, that post impressive results, and companies that post mediocre results. And there have been studies done that shows that if in the organization there is, or the organizational culture is stifling, then, as I said earlier, people will only give their barest minimum. Maybe once upon a time in the history of human beings, maybe that worked at some point. But in the current organization, where you have different generations, you have, in fact, even if you take your children at home, and this is something I always say, that if you like, shout. If your child is doing something, shout at them and see the response, as against if you talk to them nicely and see the response. So if even children will not take that from an adult, how much more in the workplace where we are all adults? And in fact, sometimes you can have let's say the security man, who is the chief or the Sariki in his community, who, when if you go to his community, people kneel in front of, but because that person in the organization maybe is at the lower level of the ladder, you think that person is beneath you and so does not deserve to be respected. No, that way of doing things does not produce the kind of profound results that an organization needs. So the difference between an organization that posts impressive results and the one that posts mediocre results is the culture, whether the culture is stifling or the culture is something that encourages teamwork, encourages social interactions, and people work freely under very good conditions. Yes.
All right. So you said something that in the organization we have two objectives: to produce the organizational results,
Yes.
and to build relationship.
Yes.
I had a boss who says, "Look, I'm not here to listen to people's personal problems.
Mhm.
If I want to listen to people's personal problems, I will not do my job." What do you say to that? I mean, is there room for leaders? Here, when we talk leaders, we're talking all of us, to listen to the personal problems of our colleagues, of our subordinates, or even our bosses. Do we have to make room for that? Where does that play in the big organizational sense?
Okay. Thank you, Samuel. You see, if you are looking at things from a short-term perspective, you will think that, well, today I'm your boss, and so all that matters to me is for you to deliver results. I don't have to listen to your problems or anything. But we need to understand that it takes people for us to achieve results. Human beings are not islands on their own. And sometimes you would have even worked with somebody, and the person, in fact, I'm here today because of a relationship I built with somebody when I worked with her. And so when that person called me and said, "Oh, Abu, Samuel says that he wants you to speak on their platform." Maybe, but for Patricia, I wouldn't have come into contact with you. So imagine if I had when I worked with Patricia, if I treated her in a way that we had animosity, and so we parted ways on very bad basis. That would have been it. And there are so many examples of people from our past who have helped us to progress in life at a certain stage. So for me, let's treat human beings just because they are humans. Yes, the work has to be done. And of course, I will never countenance where somebody wants to take advantage of the situation and so want to abuse a relationship. Yes, the person knows that every time they can call you and tell you that, well, there's traffic on my road, so I'll get to work 1 hour late, and every time traffic on this road. That's not what I'm talking about. But generally, we need to find out what issues people have. If your team member, for example, is somebody who comes to work very early, but over a period of time, you realize that they are not coming that early, I think you should find out. Maybe they are in a situation that you can have an arrangement with them that, okay, maybe because of this situation you are facing, yes, it's okay, come to work 30 minutes late, but close 30 minutes late as well, so that at the end of the day, if it's the hours we want to achieve, or better still, if you even approach it that, well, I require of you to do X amount of work. So even if I allow you to come to work 30 minutes late, as long as you can deliver that work for me, we have an agreement. So you have to go beyond the physical person standing in front of, because that person is not a robot. they have other dynamics that impact their work. So at times you have to find out what is impeding their progress and help them. And it is, you see, when you do that for a human being, they will not forget. So that, yes, they know they're supposed to close at 5 o'clock, but they also know that if they close at 5 o'clock on a particular day, a certain work that you need to go and present to get your shine, you will not be able to do it. So they will bend backwards and stay sometimes till 9 o'clock to 10 p.m. because they want to make you happy, just because they know that you care about them. So for me, it is, as I said, it is finding the right balance. You cannot be buddies with your team members to the extent where they are not achieving results, but you come and, hey, Charlie, how? Then you go to lunch, you come back, nobody is working. That's not what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, the relationship you are building should ensure that you are achieving or even exceeding the business goals set for yourselves.
Great. In other words, leaders need to understand what's going on in the lives of their people. Yes. And as somebody has said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Exactly.
So if you don't care about your people and you just come and read the book to them, then you're not dealing with them on an emotionally intelligent level. You have to understand what is going on in their lives, so that, as you said, you can probably sometimes even make adjustments, because your objective is to get the best out of them. And the purpose of a leader is to add value to the people. It's not just to beat them and take value out of them. So know what is going on. Thank you so much for that. Now I'll come back. I have more questions because this is an important subject. But somebody is asking, please, how is leading with emotional intelligence different from extrinsic motivation? And how can the two be associated in an organization? How does leading with emotional intelligence different from extrinsic motivation, and how can the two be associated in an organization? So that's note that one. Okay, you want to take it?
Oh no, if there are other questions, let me.
Okay, so note that. Let me see if there are a few more so that you can take them together. This is Mabel. Mabel says, hi, is emotional intelligence situational? Because Musk and Welsh, those who've told us their stories, are also seen as taskmasters in other other write-ups. I think he put wash hands. Okay, so that's a hashtag. So his point is, you've told us this beautiful side of Elon Musk, you've told us this beautiful side of Welsh, and we just heard Elon Musk just fired everybody when he took over Twitter. So the question Mabel is asking is emotional intelligence situational? Because these guys are also known to be taskmasters. So I think you can take those two. Okay, there's another one here. I mean, just note it so you can take them. How can one lead with emotional intelligence devoid of implicit biases? Okay. All right. How can you lead with emotional intelligence devoid of implicit biases? So take these few questions, and then I will come back with my own.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Samuel. Okay. So yes, the one who asks, how is extrinsic how is emotional intelligence different from extrinsic motivation? Okay. Yeah. So let me put it this way. So extrinsic motivation basically is where someone is influenced by what they can get to influence them to be able to achieve a goal, as against intrinsic, which is which comes out of the person's own desires and wish to want to achieve the goal. So basically, what I'll say to this, okay, so how is this different? For me, emotional intelligence is working with people in a way that will induce their intrinsic motivation to want to go the extra mile or to work with you or for you. So it's if you are able to work with people displaying the right emotional intelligence, they will not be looking out for external incentives to be able to work. Yes, how you treat them itself is something that is coming external of themselves. But what that does is it generates a certain inward motivation for them to achieve their goals. So the two, even though are related, but they are indirect, because I won't see the emotional intelligence part as an extrinsic motivation. Yes, it's a way you relate with people, but what that does is it brings out their very inner desire to want to work with you or to help you to succeed, basically. So
in other words, emotional intelligence, as you explained to us, is recognizing the humanity of the people you are working with.
Yes, exactly.
You are human. You have your emotions. You have your bad days. You have your good days. That human being who is also working with you has his bad days, his good days. So as a human being, recognize that humanity, relate with them at that level, look at where they are so that they can be appreciated as a human being. That gives an inner energy for the people to feel an attachment to you and to work together.
Exactly.
Whereas extrinsic motivation is, okay, you are just throwing carrots at people. And sometimes you can give them things, but they still, because you don't really show the love, the care of the things you give to them, they don't appreciate it.
Yes.
So you can throw them money, you can throw them gift and so on, which is the extrinsic motivation you're trying to achieve. But if you really don't connect with them at the heart level, then you're going to have discontent.
Well said, Samuel. Yes.
All right. So now the emotional intelligence, is it situational?
Situational, yes. That's the second one. Okay, so you see, dealing with humans, of course, every person is unique. There are individual differences. So depending on how someone present themselves, you will deploy the right measure of emotional intelligence for the person. However, I think with the example you gave, you see, I want to put it in this context. So yes, if I buy a business and I believe that, let's say, that business is overstaffed, and because of that, it's not delivering the result I want, I can take a business decision to downscale. That doesn't mean that I am not emotionally intelligent. Maybe how I go about it, yes. So to downscale, yes. Because if I don't downscale, that business, there's a risk of that business collapsing, and so everybody else there losing their job. So what if, let's say, I downscale and I exit, let's say 20% of the workforce, so that the remaining can now make the business viable, and so maybe in future the business will even be in a position to now recruit more people, including those that are let go. So if I do this, I cannot be said not to be emotionally intelligent. However, it's a business decision that has to be taken, and sometimes those decisions need to be taken so that the very survival of the business is maintained. But the emotional intelligence part is how you are relating with the people that work for you, how you see them, seeing them as humans, and so connecting with them at the heart level, as you put it, so that you can get them to deliver the best. So, and again, sometimes depending on who is telling the story, if let's say someone who is not pulling their weight, no matter how you've tried to help them, they don't pull their weight, and so per the rules of the organization, such people end up, for example, being exited. Obviously, if they are telling the story about you, they will say that, well, to the extent that you made them lose their job, no matter what everybody else says about you, to them, that is their story. They lost their job because of you. So, if we put that, if you put it in such context, then for me, I want us to aggregate it. Generally, how does the person look at treating employees that they work with, as against the isolated cases where maybe they have to work, or they have to work on somebody because, and let's face it, in an organization, we have some people that don't put their, it's not everybody who works at the level that we want. And so sometimes you have to look at the rules and bring
apply it.
Exactly. So that's how I will explain that question.
And if I may just chip in here,
sure.
I mean, if you have a serious medical condition and the doctor has to operate on you, he has to cut you.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean he's a wicked human being, but he has to cut you. But as an emotionally intelligent person, before taking you to the operation, he's going to talk to you. He's going to try to understand your fears and try to bring down your fears and tell you that, look, yes, this is a serious condition. We still have to do the operation, but hey, you're going to be fine. But if the doctor just comes and says, this is a bad condition, get out, let's go to the theater, we are going to cut you, that doctor will not be an emotionally intelligent person. And a lot of situations, people get their health gets worsened or better off depending upon how emotionally intelligent the doctor is. So if you're an organization and you have to do your work, you have to do your work, getting the best out of people. Also taking emotional intelligence, knowing them where to press and to get the results out of them is also skillful. Leaders need to get that. All right. So the last one, there are a few more. So if you do them snappy, then we can take a few more questions.
So it says, how can one lead with emotional intelligence devoid of implicit biases? Okay. So for me, I say that it is next to impossible, as long as we are humans, not to have biases. So one example I always give is that in my team, if you add value to me, my ability to also bend backwards for you is higher, because I know that when you are there, you give me, let's say, 200%. So on the day that you are not available, I will not treat you or behave as if that's the end of the world, as against somebody who, even when the person is there, the person is present but it's not giving you any value. So if such a person now gives excuse why they cannot get to work early, or they have to go early, or every time they are bringing excuses, how you relate with them, no matter how emotionally intelligent you are, will be different. So for me, it's difficult to rule out biases, but at the end of the day, we should not use one brush to paint everybody, or use stereotypes. It is, we treat persons, because people are individuals, they have individual differences. So maybe for I have some team members, when they do something and you say it when others are there, they are okay. But for others, you have to talk to them in private. So when you know the personal differences of your team members, then you know the approach to you. So yes, you have to differentiate your approach for each person depending on how their makeup is or how they respond to such issues. That does not mean that you are being biased, and that for one person you call them separately and you talk to them, and for another person you spoke to them in the presence of others. It is how, that is why when we did the quadrant, we spoke about the fact that you need to have awareness of your people, and once you know how or what makes them tick, then you respond accordingly. So treating people with individual differences matters, but what is not good is to use stereotypes to treat people. That I will not encourage.
Okay, thank you so much. And just as you are talking, maybe to tie that in, I see Prof. Carmore ask a question about any thoughts as to introverts and extroverts as leaders. So you note that he wants to know if one is an introvert and another one is an extrovert, as leaders, do you have any thoughts about how they lead differently? Then Livingston is asking, what do you do when you find yourself in the midst of people who have not developed their emotional intelligence and see you as strange when you always display your emotional intelligence? How do you cope in such a situation? Okay, so you are within a group of people, they're not emotionally intelligent, and they see you strange because you are displaying your emotional intelligence. How do you cope with that? So you add that to Prof's question about extrovert and introvert leaders. Any thoughts on that? Then I think this will be the last question from the platform. We have only 10 minutes to run up. So please, can I say that you have to draw a line between work itself and relationship? That's somebody's question. The name is Limitless Wealth. I think the person wants to bring plenty money. All right. And Emmanuel say thank you for this inspiring, for always inspiring us. All right. So those are 3 set of questions. If you take them quickly, and then we'll see if we have others. Then we'll come back later on. Don't go. Alhaji has his closing remarks. He has stored the dessert for us, so don't go. All right.
All right. So thank you very much, Samuel. So the question on the introverts and extroverts as leaders, my thought on that is anybody can be a leader, and you can lead from anywhere in the organization, as John Maxwell espouses, and I believe strongly in that. But you must know yourself. The self-awareness is key. So you must have that self-awareness. So if you are an introvert or extrovert, your self-awareness as to what makes you tick, what are your personalities type, how you deal with different situations. It's the first and foremost thing you need to know about yourself. And then, because again, you are going to have to deal with introverts and extroverts. So the awareness part is very important. Knowing yourself, knowing others, and then making sure that you are able to apply or manage that that relationship. That is very key. So I don't think leadership is a preserve of a certain category of people. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody or anybody can lead. At the end of the day, if we are looking at the definition of leadership, our working definition here, which is the influence, as long as you are able to influence people to work with you or for you, or people are willing to respond to you or to follow you or to work with you, as against they having to do with you because you have a position, then you are leading them. So with that definition, I think it's how you approach it.
In other words, what you're saying is that there are basic principles to influence. However, your personality, you bring your personality also to your leadership. So so you have to be aware of yourself, and that's
Exactly.
basic for both extrovert and introvert. Once you are aware of yourself, you know your strength, because introverts will process information differently.
Yes.
So that information processing and their communicating their responses can be different from how the extroverted person also processes the information and communicate. Now, the self-awareness is what is going to help you now to bring that to your leadership and help others to follow you. And so there may be different approaches, but they will get the same result, if I understand you. All right.
That's perfect. The one who asked the question, what do you do when you find yourself among people who have not developed their emotional intelligence? What I will ask you to do is to help them by exposing them to emotional intelligence. And you see, if you, and it's very obvious, human beings relate and behave in a certain way or gravitate towards a certain line of leadership. So I'm sure such a person can even use the results, for example, he's getting from the team he works with. And I don't know whether he's a leader or not, but when he relates with people, the result that come out of that, he can use that, and it starts very simple or start small. You will get examples to show those who are not emotionally intelligent, to see how you are able to work with people, how easily people will work with you, or how you're able to work with people of different personality types, and even in teams, how you work around or you get results. So I believe that the best thing to do is to help those people come around or understand what emotional intelligence is. And you can only do that if you have some results to show them, because some people don't even believe, some people believe that as a leader, you have to be tough. So if you're unable to show them how the emotional intelligence approach you are using is helping you to achieve higher results, then they may not listen to you. But I believe that it may take time, but you have to help them to be able to understand the benefit of applying emotional intelligence in every situation. The last question I have is, can I say that you have to draw a line between work and relationship? I will not say draw a line. You see, yes, there is work to be done and there's a relationship. What I will say is that you use the relationship to get the best out of people. You use the relationship to get the best out of people. And at the end of the day, if people are willing to work for you, your results will be exponential. And this is tried and tested. If you decide that you can do it alone, and so you can use threats and harshness on your people, they will only give you the barest minimum that will not tip you over the edge. And so what I will recommend is not to draw a line, but rather to know that the two are two sides of the same coin. So there's a relationship part and there's a work part. Make sure you find the right balance. Don't let people get away with murder because you want to build a good relationship with them. And then also, don't treat people as if they are machines. You have to show them care. You have to let the people know that you care so that they will go the extra mile for you. So that's will be how I will answer that question.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you are truly emotionally intelligent, I wonder how people will look at you as strange, because emotionally intelligent person recognizes people's emotions and you connect with them at that level. I'm sure they will appreciate you more. You will open doors for them to come in. And as Alhaji is saying, you have opportunity to help them, to coach them, and to bring them another the level of awareness. All right. So Alhaji will give us his closing remark, but let me quickly share with you some of the things that we are doing that you can be part of. We're running our growth journey program. It's a 15-week growth journey where we are taking you on a journey to help you to grow your person. A lot of the time, we are just going on and on and on without knowing, developing the person behind the work, behind the husband, behind the wife, behind all the jobs you're doing. Who are you and how do you grow yourself? So we want to encourage you to do that. We're also starting our leadership mindset and heart set program. This is big one. We're going to help you with the fundamentals of leadership. We've done this for organizations, and it's the results is great, and we're bringing it virtual for all of you. So if Kofi is ready, he'll just give us a quick break, and Alhaji will come and give us his closing remark. We just have a couple of minutes.
Okay.
We spend a lot of time developing our professions, but we don't spend time developing ourselves. Look, as a leader, as a professional, you have to grow. You have to grow yourself. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. So we are bringing you this special studies based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And we're going to just spend time with you and help you go through the principles that you need to be able to grow your person, to become a better person. Because if you become a better person, you become a better leader, you become a better father, you become a better professional. Do not miss this opportunity, as the masterclass is going to be very practical and discussional. It is going to be a limited number of people. So please register now to be part of the program.
Thank you so much. A few people are coming in, but we are going to the top of the time. So Alhaji will give us his closing remark. Emmanuel is saying, how do we let our emotions serve us and distract us? Maybe not to distract us, but that's it. So Alhaji, thank you so much. Henry says, very awesome presentation. I'm proud of my takeaways. Thank you so much for the feedback. Albert says, thank you, Mr. Suman and CTL team. Frederick, okay, there's another question here, but I don't think we have the time for it. Does it mean emotional intelligence can also be seen as extrinsic if executed properly? I think it's a follow-up. Good. And somebody says, I've worked with Mr. Suman and he's such a great boss. Thank you so much, Nadia, for commending our speaker. Okay. And Latifa says, very inspiring. Thank you so much. And let me still say thank you so much for your response. Emmanuel says, thank you. Always inspiring to be part of this program. So please, okay, all right. So I just read those ones to join them to thank you and to ask you to give us your closing remarks, your closing thoughts in 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you very much, Samuel. So basically, what we need to understand is leadership is influence, and your ability to influence people around you and for them to help you achieve the set goal is what matters. So at the end of the day, it is not the fact that you have a certain position that matters. You may not have any position, but you can lead. You can lead from anywhere. And one of the best ways of leading is to apply emotional intelligence. So as people, it's important that we master ourselves, and that is where the self-awareness comes in. So for us to be able to work with people and have influence over them, let us master ourselves. Let us be self-aware of what makes us tick, what our weaknesses, what our strengths, what gets us going, what gets us down. When we are not in our best element, how can we get ourselves back up? And so once we're able to know this, and then also we need to know about the emotional makeup of the people around us, that's very important. Then now we move on to the application. And the best way of ensuring that you are able to work with people is to build good relationships with them. So we shouldn't decouple building and maintaining relationships from the work we do. At the end of the day, we should be able to build on or ride on the relationships to get the work done. If we look at it this way, and if we remember that it takes human beings for us to get to the top, irrespective of what you know, at the end of the day, somebody will have to talk about you to another person, even in meetings with executives. When you are not there, somebody will have to talk about your work. So how do you make that person feel, or how you make that person feel is important. And that is what we are talking about with this emotional intelligence. I hope I've been able to help bring this concept, break it down for all of us. I look forward to having such sessions on other topics another time. I'm grateful for your time, for allowing me to come to your homes, and we hope to meet another time. Thank you very much.
And everybody for making the time to be on the leadership platform. As we say all the time, we appreciate you. We know you have other things to do, but you make a choice to be on the platform every Saturday to learn about leadership. May God bless you. May you take the lessons that we have have been shared and share it with others. Share the link with other people. And tomorrow, Sunday, make room for God. Try to go to church and be good. See you again next week when we bring you another topic with another great leader and speaker. God bless you. Bye-bye.
My name is Eliza.
My name is Elsie.
My name is Ebenezer Tufo.
This is Rosemary Robert Gacy.
Over the past 14 weeks, I have been part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey, and it has been a blessing for me. I want to share my lessons with you.
Indeed, my attitude to life has never been the same. On the very first day I joined the virtual Personal Growth and Leadership Masterclass organized by Center for Transformational Leadership CTL Africa under the tutelage of Mr. Samuel Yim.
First, the law of intentionality. Second, the law of design. And third, the law of the rubber band, the law of expansion.
The law of intentionality, the law of awareness, Then we have the law of the mirror.
Looking at how intense these laws are and how much impact they're supposed to make to our life.
My value obviously is not the same. The program indeed satisfies my quest for knowledge. So I encourage you to be part of this journey and also become an encouragement to others.
I will recommend CTL Africa to everyone who hears about us.
It has been a blessing to me, and I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
So we thank Mr. Yim, and we thank CTL, and thank you for listening to us.
God bless you as you make a move today.
I have been blessed, and so you be blessed. Thank you.